back to the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Merkel. Here with us today, Aaron and Joe. Go and say hi, guys.
Hello.
Alright, so in this video, we'll be doing another version of our weekly NFL predictions. This time, we'll be predicting Week 15 in the NFL season. But before we get started, let's go ahead and go over the results from last week. Pretty solid week from the crew. Aaron specifically going 12-1 on the week, bringing his record up to 137-55. Meanwhile, me and Joe both go 10-3. I am currently now 5 games back at 132-60, and Joe is 7 games back at 130-62. So, yeah, I think we lost Joe. I think Aaron probably won it.
Yeah, I've been out of it for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
still time. There's still 4 weeks.
Unless there is just well, you'd have to pick like. You're gonna pick the Panthers every week?
I actually was kind of thinking about it this week, if I'm being honest.
Well, anyways,
Yeah, whatever.
now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with this week's predictions.
And if you like our content, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know what you think.
All right, so starting off with our first game of the week, we got our Thursday night football matchup, NFC West battle that could end up going a long way in determining who wins the division this season. We got the Los Angeles Rams taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams coming off a massive win over the Buffalo Bills this past week, where despite Josh Allen scoring 6 touchdowns and not turning the ball over a single time, they somehow won and scored 44 points in the process. So, something the Bills defense didn't do all year, the Rams were able to do against them. That's score a lot of points. So credit to them. They seem like they're kind of all the way back to the potential that they had at the beginning of the season, or could just be a really fluky game. I don't know, to be seen. But San Francisco 49ers, on the other hand, beaten, battered, and bruised all season long. Christian McCaffrey is obviously going to be out for the season. Jordan Mason also out for the foreseeable future on the IR. And last week, they were able to scrape together. They scored 38 points. They were able to overcome those injuries to the running game and beat the living dog shit out of the Chicago Bears in their first game since firing Matt Eberflus. So if they had any sort of extra juice from that, wasn't to be seen in that game. So both teams coming in this game kind of hot and looking to keep their seasons alive and their playoff hopes alive. It's going to be kind of tough to pick between these two because they've kind of mirrored each other all year, and their last matchup came down to I believe the last drive of the game where the Rams were able to win it in walk-off fashion, I believe. So it's going to come down to the wire, I think, regardless of which team comes out on top. San Francisco does have the home field here, so it could be kind of leaning towards them. But I think I'm going to go the Rams here. They have a little bit more to play for, as they have a little bit more of a realistic shot at winning the division, whereas the Niners are currently 2 games back, and I think they've already lost 1 game to Seattle with 1 to play. Or maybe they split with Seattle this year. So I think the Rams just a slightly better team right now as well. So I'm going to go with them, but it's going to be a real dogfight.
Let's make things interesting. I'll go with the 49ers.
Okay.
Just let's start it off hot here. I do have major concerns. That offense is pretty beaten up. Gonna have to lean on Kittle and Samuel pretty hard this game, I think. But I really do like the Rams in this game, but I'm gonna take the 49ers.
Hey,
Take the
appreciate
Rams.
it.
Take the Rams.
Yeah.
Take the Rams. I can take the Niners. No, if he's taking Niners, then I'm going Rams.
It's gonna be a fun game. Yeah, I don't. Both these
Lorenzo
teams
might be out too, right?
Is that right?
He's questionable.
Oh man, so yeah, the Niners are
Yeah,
in
like
real
I said,
trouble as far as the running
Foot
game
sprain or
goes.
something like that.
Debo Samuel might be lining up in the backfield a little bit this game. Then and he's he hasn't exactly been the same player this year, so I'm starting to like my Rams pick a little bit more, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. Next we got first Sunday game. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Cleveland Browns. Two teams going in completely opposite directions. Whereas the Browns are currently sitting at 3-10, have picked up a couple losses as of recent, and Jameis Winston, while really fun, just doesn't quite get the job done for this football team. Makes a few too many mistakes. Defense really hasn't lived up to their potential either. The Chiefs should win this game comfortably, but inevitably it's going to come down to the last drive again, where we somehow find yet another new way of winning a football game that has never, well, it has been done before, but maybe not in, succession like this, where you've got the block kick and then the snap by the center on the Raiders, and now a doink field goal to win the game. The Chiefs are, I don't know, maybe what's something we haven't seen yet. Maybe they catch Patrick Mahomes, throws the football off the upright, bounces back into Travis Kelce's hands for the game-winning touchdown. Chiefs win.
Is the upright considered out of bounds?
I have no idea. No idea. Arena football rules.
Obviously, I'm going to go with the Brown or the Chiefs in this as well.
Oh, Freudian slip.
Ooh, Freudian slip. Yeah. Yeah. This has like Jameis Winston, Jerry Jeudy, just absolutely tearing the Chiefs defense apart type game vibes. But I do think the Chiefs get it done in the end. Maybe Njoku as well. We don't like to cover tight ends very well, so
That's true. Yeah. Well, Nick Bolton can't. So
he's more of a run stopper.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm taking the Chiefs. That's a win-win for me. Actually, no, I could use the Browns to beat you guys now. The Browns ain't threat for the division, but I know better than.
Yeah, you got to
that
think about the
team
one
going.
seed now, Joe. Come on, you're up here with us these days.
Not really. We just need
Don't
to
worry
slow
about
some
those
momentum down before we have to meet you in the
Basement
playoffs.
dwellers. We don't associate with them with those anymore. Next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Tennessee Titans. Both these teams basically already eliminated. Well, the Titans are eliminated from the playoffs. I think the Bengals still have an outside chance of making it, but they'd have to go on a hell of a run and get a lot of help along the way. I don't see the Titans really standing a chance in this game with the way the Bengals offense has been playing. And then this past week, I mean, granted it was against Cooper Rush, but only let up 20 points. So that's a step in the right direction for the defense, as far as I'm concerned. Just give them a little bit of hope, Joe. A little silver lining, at least, because they score 40 every game, but they also give up 50. So they got something to hold on to. I think Bengals should roll this game, probably beat them by at least 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 or 4. The Titans just are not a good team. They scored 6 this past week against the Jaguars, and the Jaguars are a really bad defense. So if the Jaguars can hold them to 6, I have faith the Bengals can hold them to, at least 14.
Yeah, I mean, Bengals. This shouldn't be a game, but the spread is 5.
That is kind of crazy.
That's wild. It's because the Bengals didn't do what they should have did to the Cowboys. That's what everyone was expecting.
Yeah. I'm guessing you're on Bengals.
Bengals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next, we got the Washington Commanders taking on the New Orleans Saints. Saints with a little bit of a resurgence recently, up to 5-8 record after a horrible stretch there, basically the entire middle half of the season. Commanders, on the other hand, kind of go in the opposite direction. Been struggling a little bit of late. They had a bye this past week, but they were on a 3-game skid not too long ago. And so them coming off a bye, I think's going to benefit them greatly here. They're also just a flat out better team than the Saints, so I think they would have won regardless. But bye should be a little bit extra help for them. Saints, you know, they I think they scored like 14. They scored 14 points against the Giants. So if they struggle to score against the Giants, I don't expect them to score. Well, the Giants actually have a really good defense, so maybe they can score a little bit more on the Commanders. But I think the Commanders will throw it all over the field against the Saints secondary.
Yeah, I'm going with the Commanders. Sure, you could have a little wily breakout game from Kamara, but I think Jaden Daniels kind of holds that Commanders team into it, and that offense really does carry that team with, all due respect to their defensive acquisitions at the trade deadline.
Like Marshawn Lattimore.
Just not quite enough to be, super competitive with these high tier teams, which the Saints are not. So
Yeah.
I'll take the Commanders.
Same. Also, Derek Carr's questionable. I think he broke his hand or something this past Sunday.
Dude, the
he's
guy is
considered
made of glass.
Yeah. So if he's questionable, especially even if he does play, he might. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna affect him. And then if he
Yeah.
doesn't play, we obviously know that team don't score very much. So yeah. Washington.
They did for about 3 weeks, and then for some reason the offense just decided to die.
That was it.
Next, we got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the New York Giants. Should be a beatdown by the Ravens. Giants, I can't imagine really stand any sort of chance. They have no offense to speak of. Their defense is good, but if they're out there for 40 minutes this game, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are going to run all over them. So, I'm going to take the Ravens and not really talk anymore about it because there's nothing to say.
Do you want to guess the spread?
12.5.
6.5.
14.5.
Ah, I was going to say 14.5. Damn it.
Yeah, I'll go Ravens. They're
I
just
thought-
the all around better team.
I thought with home field, maybe they gave him a couple, but
I was thinking it was gonna be outrageously low. I
Yeah.
did 6 or something like that.
I'm going Ravens, dude. Or you going to think about it, Joe? You can think about it.
No, I said same.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Okay. Next, we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Carolina Panthers, and if the Panthers win this game, they're only one game worse than the Cowboys. Which, coming into the season, if anybody would have said that, that would have just been really funny. Cowboys fans would have been really mad, but they probably are really mad. And yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be a pretty close game. The Panthers and Bryce Young have, they've looked the best they have under Bryce Young these last 5-6 weeks. So he's having fun out there. I think he's playing a little bit more free than he ever has before because, fuck it, what are they going to do? They already benched him once. Didn't work out well that time. They could draft another guy, I guess, but probably just in the same situation. So he's probably, I would like to think, he's probably going to be their starting quarterback next year at this point. And I think could be another opportunity for him to gain momentum going into next season, knocking off, even if it is this piss poor version of the Cowboys, it's still the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Panthers in this one. I could see Adam Thielen having a hell of a day, and Chuba Hubbard maybe running for 150 yards. So
Panthers are actually favored in this game.
hey, I like that. Though. They're home.
But I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm gonna take the Cowboys.
Fans gotta be. Cowboys fans gotta be.
I think Cooper Rush goes out there and has a wily little performance. And I think maybe that Cowboys defense showed against Cincinnati that they might not be as bad as they, maybe led on to believe during the earlier parts of the season. The Panthers have been more competitive, and Bryce has looked a little better, but he's still not looked super great. But I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
I'm looking back on the Panthers, and they're this past week lost by 6. 3 straight weeks before that, lost by only 3. That's tough. Yeah, give me Cowboys. I'm gonna just pick a. I'm gonna go with the defense. Micah make something happen. Trayvon Diggs something. Pick anything, any sign of life on that team.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Cowboys.
That's what I thought. I just was hoping I misheard. That's all right, man. It's all right. Like you
Chance for you to
said.
get a game with both of us.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, Joe, only lost by a combined 12 points their last 3 games, all being two pretty good teams. Well, Bucks are average, and then you got the Chiefs and Eagles are the other two. So before that, they won 2 straight. They could easily be on a 5-game winning streak right now and sitting at 6-7, but they're not. So next we got the New York. I hope they do, bro. God, that'd be so funny. Next, we got the New York Jets taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Battle of 3 and 10 teams in the AFC, both of which were coming into the year with pretty high expectations and have fallen. You know, saying falling short is an understatement. They have crashed and burned in a fiery wreck of disaster and misery. Both these teams
The
are just
typical Jet
underperforming.
season.
A typical Jets season. And I mean, before Trevor Lawrence, typical Jaguars season, even with Trevor Lawrence, kind of a typical Jaguars season. But both these I don't know where I'm going with that. Both these teams are not good. Both offenses have been middling at best. The Jaguars' defense has been much worse than the Jets, but the Jets recently have not been good either. So I think this game could honestly go either way. However, is Trevor Lawrence playing or not?
Lawrence is done for the year.
He's done for the year?
He's on IR.
Okay.
They
I
put
didn't
him
know he got put on
IR.
IR. I knew he was out last game. So yeah, with no Trevor Lawrence, I just don't see any way this Jaguars team can be competitive. And the Jets should be better than what their record says they are. I would like to think Aaron Rodgers can get his shit together. Well, it's really probably not all him, but his leadership has not helped. Hopefully he can get all the gang together for one more win before the season ends. And that's this. So let's go Jets.
Yeah, not a great year to have your mascot start with a J. I'm gonna go with the Jets as well. If they lose to Mac Jones, then this organization is in dire straits.
They should trade for Mac Jones if they lose to Mac Jones. That should be the rule.
QB swap.
Yeah.
Might as well. I'm going Jags. The Jets have been nothing but a disappointment this year.
True.
I had more faith in the Jets than I did the Steelers this past offseason, like going into the year. And yet I had seen more of the Steelers' production than I did on the Jets. Like, of the players, of the core that we brought in. We didn't bring in a bunch of new people, just a few. So, I mean, I thought the Jets... People did say that about Aaron Rodgers. We needed him to prove it first before we had them ranked in the top 5, top 10 teams in the league.
Yeah.
And he's done nothing but replicate what Zach Wilson did, maybe a little bit better. You know, not as many turnovers, maybe. I don't know, but they only averaged 19 points a game.
Right.
So, I mean, they're 3 and 10 for a reason. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Jags with more of a Mac Jones bucket. You know, just throwing the ball up to Brian Thomas and just making stuff happen.
I mean, he did beat the Jets a few years ago throwing, what was it, like 2 passes or something like that? Or was that the Bills? He beat some AFC East team when he was on the Patriots throwing like 2 passes or something like that. So maybe that's this game.
And
Travis
Breece Hall
have a day.
might not be playing again. Like, we don't know. So,
Yeah.
they didn't run the ball at all this week.
Maybe Bigsby and ETN combined for 300 rushing yards. Next, we get the Miami Dolphins taking on the Houston Texans. Dolphins trying to put up a last-ditch effort to sneak into the playoffs, but time is running out, especially with teams like the Broncos ahead of them winning games, and the Chargers are competitive with the Chiefs and are probably going to, at the very least, make the playoffs. So those spots are running out for the Dolphins to make the postseason. This week's not going to get any easier for them as they're facing a Houston Texans team that is just trying to cement themselves in the division. As if they win this week, they may end up clinching. I don't know if they have the tiebreaker over the Colts, but if they do, they would clinch the division with a win this week, and I think they're going to be highly motivated to go out there and beat this Dolphins team. So I'm going to take the Texans in this one. They've started to kind of form back into shape these last few weeks. With Nico Collins. Ever since Nico Collins returned a few weeks ago, him and C.J. Stroud have really gotten back on the same page. Even without Stephon Diggs, that offense can be lethal, and I think they're gonna knock off the Dolphins and end their season this week. So, give me Houston.
I think Houston has the division record. Yeah. And head-to-head win percentage. They won both their games against Indy. So
they beat Indy already. Okay.
They're in good shape there.
So yeah, a win would clinch then. With only 3 weeks to go, a win would put them at least 3 games above Indianapolis, who's in second.
I think I kind of like Miami in this game. Wily team fighting for. Why are you shaking your head? You wanted to pick them?
Yeah, everybody's wily today, huh, Aaron? Everyone.
Well, they got something to fight for, you know. The Texans do as well, but the Dolphins are finally showing signs of life. You know, that offense really getting on track now that Tua's back, and shaking some of that rust off. And I think they go out there and sort of lay a competitive game out there for the Texans, and pull one out there on the road.
Well, I'm taking Miami as well. I was big on Miami before the season, before they got hurt, or before Tua got hurt. Also, they've won 4 of their last 5, just that one to the Packers. And this week was ugly, but yeah, I think they find a way.
Next, we got the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Denver Broncos. Battle between 2 Peyton Manning teams. And unfortunately, he is not going to be playing in this matchup. But we get to watch Bo Nix and Anthony Richardson, which is not nearly as good. And the Broncos trying to cement themselves as a top wild card team this year. I believe they currently are tied record-wise with the Ravens. And I know for a fact the Texans, I can see it right there above them. So I believe, or I guess the Texans are the division leader. But yeah, they're tied with the Chargers too. So the Chargers and the Ravens for the number 1 wild card team. All 3 wild card teams are currently tied at 8-5. I don't know what the tiebreaker looks like between those 3, but a win here would go a long way in the Broncos trying to get a 5th or 6th seed as opposed to the 7th, in which they would play the Bills and probably get demolished. So, would be a big win here. Should be a big win here. They are a better team than Indianapolis. Bo Nix has kind of cemented himself as a top 3 Rookie of the Year candidate because it's more than likely going to go to a quarterback unless it's Brock Bowers. And I think Denver's running game is going to be able to eat up enough clock. That defense is going to keep the Colts out of the red zone, and Broncos should win by a comfortable 10 points.
So as it stands, the Chargers have a tiebreaker over the Broncos because they won the first game, but they do play not this week, obviously, but next week. So there's still, that's still sort of up in the air. I agree. I think the Broncos should win this. I think that defense gives Anthony Richardson fits. and that offense is kind of getting hot. So I'll take the
Mhm.
Broncos.
Yeah, I like Denver. In Mile High, so I
Yeah,
think that'll have an effect on Indianapolis. And
that's a good point.
Can you hear him?
No, I lost him.
damn,
Oh, there you are.
There we go.
That was weird.
now you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, Denver because it's in Mile High, and the Colts usually play indoors. So then also, if there's any weather that plays into that,
It's a really good point. I
Supposed to
didn't
be
think of
60
that.
and sunny.
Anthony Richardson throws for 48% completion indoors
How's it gonna
in
be?
Mile High. Maybe something different.
How's it gonna be warmer in Colorado than Oklahoma? So stupid.
Hey, Anthony Richardson might huck a 85-yard touchdown though.
Yeah.
At that
Yeah.
elevation. He
Yeah.
might launch.
He might
one.
accidentally throw it outside. Like if they get in the red zone, he might accidentally throw
Yeah.
it outside the stadium.
Yeah.
I just need to see them just one time. Just let it fly.
Yeah.
Just see what happens.
All right. Next we got probably one of, if not the most anticipated matchup of the week. We got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Detroit Lions, best team in the NFC, taking on the second best team. Well, record-wise, the second best team, but vibes-wise, the best team in the AFC right now, the Buffalo Bills. And, well, maybe not after this past week, I guess. Maybe it is the Chiefs. I don't know. That's debatable. 1B, 1A, or 1B, whichever one you prefer. This could be a tough game. Bills just had a... What's the opposite of a dogfight? Because a dogfight, in my opinion, is under the assumption it's a low-scoring game. So I guess a barn burner. There we go. After a barn burner with the Los Angeles Rams this past week, they may be a little tired. I don't think that's really going to play an effect in this game by any means. Just something to note. The Lions, on the other hand, are coming off what was a really tough game on Thursday, thankfully for them, because it was a tough division matchup against the Packers. They get those extra few days of rest. I think that's going to play a massive part in this game. Dan Campbell's going to get his team up, fired up, and ready to go against one of the best quarterbacks in the league. The defense is going to be running all over the place against this Bills squad with those extra couple days of rest. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are both going to, just be able to run all over this Bills defense that struggles to contain the run. Really good at keeping teams out of the end zone, but most teams against them are able to kind of just run down the field until they get to the red zone, and then they have to kick a field goal. So I think the Lions are going to be able to punch that in once they get to that point in the field, and should be able to come out of this game with a victory. And if the Chiefs win, essentially lock up that 1 seed for Kansas City in the AFC. If the Chiefs win.
Yeah, this one is tough. It's probably about as close as you can get with a pick'em game here. I
Lions are
think
also
I'm
at
gonna
home.
lean.
Lions are also at home. I don't think I mentioned that.
I think I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Okay.
That Lions defense is pretty beat up, and Josh Allen is playing with his hair on fire. To be quite honest.
Oh, he's playing amazing. Yes.
And I think this sort of turns into another shootout. And I've got more faith in Josh Allen to go out and win a game than I do in Jared Goff.
It always
So I'm
comes
gonna
down. Always comes down to Aaron hating Jared Goff.
I'm looking at the injury report. Can I take a caveat just to wait until this is solidified on Saturday?
Who's on the IR? Who's questionable?
DJ
I just haven't
Reader,
looked. Reader,
Taylor Decker.
starting tackle. Josh Pascal plays. I don't know how to pronounce Levi's name. I don't want to mess it up, but I know he plays like
On Wuzariki.
maybe. A for effort. I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, that's three. That's three D linemen specifically for Josh Allen is why like that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, that is
If they're
massive.
healthy, if at least two of them are playing, that big one for Reader. If Reader's playing,
So I will say Bleacher Report saying they're all three
Mm.
out. And Decker.
out.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Like not questionable, but out.
I'm going Buffalo. Josh Allen's on one right now, and I think they're gonna need like. I expected them to pull out that Rams game still, just because the way he was playing, it just felt like it was meant to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not many
So,
quarterbacks lose with 6 touchdowns and no turnovers.
That's what I'm saying exactly. So like, I think I like the Lions at home especially. That's a big one at home. Detroit. I kind
With
of
the extra rest.
yeah, absolutely. I like Detroit. You know, I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I'm not gonna catch Aaron. Maybe I can try to catch you on a game.
Okay, fair enough. That's
I'll
fair.
just go Buffalo
That's
for
fair.
that
I
part.
respect that. I respect that decision.
Because I really do like I still believe that Detroit O line still to me. It just
It's
when
so
it comes
good.
down to it, they're
Yeah.
gonna make it happen at the end of the game, like you said.
Well, I mean, they still got their best offensive lineman, even if Decker's out. They still got Sewell. So
I mean, their entire old line is very good in general. So
yeah.
next man up, they'll be all right.
Next, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Battle for Pennsylvania in this game. Probably another one of our most highly anticipated matchups of the week. Ironically, these two games should probably both be primetime games, but instead they're in the afternoon slot. So good for us.
It's gonna be on TV.
It's not gonna be on TV because they're
Yeah.
probably gonna show the Bills
No,
Bills and
the
Lions
other
game,
one.
right? Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
Bills,
Yeah.
Lions, same
You
time.
got the two best games,
Yep.
and they're gonna be
Lions will
showing
definitely
up
be the
up against
one.
each other. They're not even be both shown in the same areas. So, congrats,
Yeah.
America.
Fox at 325, CBS 325 for Bills Lions.
Anyways,
But they won't be showing one.
yeah, that sucks. Steelers defense has looked incredible. Offense is starting to look almost just as incredible. Eagles, kind of the opposite. Offense looks incredible, and defense is starting to look just as incredible. So, I think this is going to be a real tough game. I don't know. I'm surprised that the pick'ems is swung so far to the Eagles at 73%. Probably just because they're as hot as any team can be in the NFL right now. But
Can I tell you why?
who's out?
George Pickens is listed as he's listed as questionable with a hamstring injury, but Tomlin said he's more likely to be out.
Yeah, I think I did hear about that actually. Now that you bring it up, that makes more sense. Then it's going to be tough for the Steelers to win if Pickens is inevitably out. Either way, I was probably going to pick the Eagles anyways, just because Saquon Barkley's on a tear right now. I'm sorry, Joe. I think the Steelers' defense is as good as any other team in the league. Can probably better than any other team in the league. Can at least limit Saquon Barkley. You're not going to stop the motherfucker, but maybe at least limit him to 75 yards on 4 yards of carry instead of 175 yards on 40 yards of carry. I just think the Eagles are going to be just a little too much for this Steelers team, mainly because their defense has taken such a big step forward this year. With no assuming there's no George Pickens, that secondary is going to just kind of eat your wide receivers alive, I think. So I'm going to go Philly.
You don't have to be rude about it. Jeez Louise.
Who else outside of Pickens do they even have?
You're good,
Don't-
bro. You're not saying nothing.
I was gonna say the same thing, Burke. I do think the Steelers defense puts up a valiant fight, and sort of really gives this Eagles offense a true test.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Eagles do inevitably sort of outlast them. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
I completely understand your guys' points about everything, especially like you said, Philly's defense being that good, I think is why it swings as hard as it does.
Mm-hmm.
Like the odds and everything. So I'm still gonna take Pittsburgh. I'm gonna stick with my team. I think if there's a team that can do it. I could see us being a team that can do it just because of our defense. I know Saquon's having a year, but I'm gonna just say, I think Russ is just gonna find a way to keep making it happen, getting it done. And yeah, I'm excited for it, to be completely honest with you. I'm really excited for it because if our defense can play and handle you guys too, I mean,
Yeah.
we've done it with Baltimore once. If we could somehow do it to Philly, I think that's going to kind of put the league on notice if they can walk out of this with a win. Good win, though. Not a lucky thing or just an ugly football game. Like, it has to be a good football game.
I will say, with out of the majority of the receivers in the league, A.J. Brown, I think, could be affected by the specific drama that's going on over there. Whether it's actually, like, real or not, just the reports of it, I think, could get in his head a little bit. I think that could be something that works in your favor. So that could be something to
Don't
watch
worry,
out for.
Big Don will squash that.
Yeah.
There won't be any drama on Sunday.
Well,
Big
is
Don
he
will
going to
fix
squash
that.
Jalen Hurts? Because apparently his beef's with Jalen Hurts. Apparently he doesn't like his quarterback anymore.
He's going to
So I didn't say that.
Graham
That's not
brought
me
it up.
saying that. That's Brandon Graham saying
In
that.
the game, though, like, it could absolutely blow up because let's say that connection, the passing game isn't there.
Mhm.
Like it's already making a little noise, and it doesn't help having, like, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and Alex Highsmith coming at you the next week. Like, this could, maybe like you said, maybe there is something in there that could, I don't know, just make them struggle the first half. Maybe it kind of derails a little bit. And
Yeah.
Maybe we see the Eagles of last year.
Yeah. I mean, they have conflicting
I'd say-
personalities. Hurts and Brown do. So like, I feel like all it would take is Brown doing one animated, like, what the fuck, to like maybe send that team. I think they're very fragile. I think their mentality is very fragile.
It ain't Pittsburgh. We ain't fragile.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
we're just gonna grind out that win.
We do not care.
we do
We
not.
do not care.
Next, we got the New England Patriots taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals with a chance to, just hang around in the playoff picture because with a loss here, they're all but eliminated. Especially, with the lack of the anti-momentum, if you want to say it, that they'll get by losing to a team like the Patriots is probably not going to be good for them. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they should end up coming away with this game, away from this game with a victory. James Conner could run for 100 yards. Kyler Murray could throw for 300 yards, but he probably won't need to. Probably going to be more the former than the latter because the Patriots just cannot score the football, and that's probably going to be a theme that continues in this game. Cardinals defense should be able to limit them to under 20 points, I would guess, and hopefully that offense can at least score 20 points. So, give me the Cardinals.
I don't see a good word for the opposite of momentum.
Anti-momentum.
I think you just came up with a great new word.
Thank you. The anti-momentum.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals, despite how wily I think Dragman is for the Patriots.
Like that
I think
coyote.
the Cardinals. The Cardinals' offense and Kyler Murray is just going to be a little bit better. I'll take the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals. Shits are 3-10.
Yeah. Next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, two slightly above average teams in each of their respective conferences, with a chance to further improve their playoff positioning with a win here this week. Obviously, the Chargers are officially knocked out of any chance they had at winning the division with a loss this past week on the doink field goal by the Chiefs. So they are limited to a wild card spot, 5, 6, or 7 seed. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, is playing for a division title still, with a win this past week and I believe a Falcons loss, right? Didn't they lose? Or did they win?
Mm-hmm.
They did lose?
They lost to the Vikings, didn't they?
Is that who they
Didn't
played?
they get smoked?
I can't remember who they played. I thought I saw that they lost. Yeah. All right. So yeah, with the Bucks win this past week, and then the with the Bucks win this past week, and then the Falcons loss, puts Tampa Bay right back up at the top of the division. Currently sitting at a 7-6 record. They now have a 1-game lead on the Falcons, which is huge because they do not have the tiebreaker over the Falcons. So if they were to lose this week, Falcons win, all of a sudden that switches right back to the Falcons on top. So big game for Tampa Bay, to say the least. Chargers really at this point just trying to see where they fall between 5 and 7. They've all but locked in a playoff spot, just trying to see if they can finish higher than the Ravens or not. Going to be a tough game for the Bucks, I think. I mean, the Chargers' pass rush is arguably the best in the league. Their defense is arguably one of the best in the league. I think this Bucks team is going to struggle to move the football and score points against Los Angeles. And I could even see Baker getting sacked like 4 or 5 times. I think the Chargers should win, come out on top. Justin Herbert probably doesn't have to do a ton. Even without J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards looked pretty impressive against this Chiefs defense this past week. A really good run defense, and Gus Edwards had a couple big ones against them, especially down in the red zone. So I think we could see a lot of that this week against a really bad Buccaneers defense, and the Chargers move up to 9-5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks as well. I think they're pretty beat up in that defensive secondary.
Well, I said the Chargers.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'll take the Chargers as
Okay.
well. Did I say Bucks? Sorry.
Yeah, you said Bucks. That's why I was like, wait.
Yeah, I'll take the Chargers as well. The Bucks are pretty beat up there in that secondary. Chargers probably expected to miss Will Dissly here for a couple weeks, so that's a pretty big loss. But that Smart guy or whoever came in,
Dude, Stone Smart, yeah.
Good.
Guess what his middle name is? Cole.
What's his first name?
Stone Cole.
Stone Cole. Is it really Cole?
It's C-O-L-E,
That's awesome.
yes. C-O-L-E.
That's awesome.
Stone Cole. Smart.
Yeah, I think the Chargers, hopefully they get Ladd McConkey back this week. But yeah, Chargers, that defense just kind of holds the Bucks.
I think, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna just stick Chargers. Just make this really simple. I'm probably gonna text you before the game plays and pick the Bucks though.
Fair enough.
I just like what Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin kind of got going right now.
That's
The Chargers defense is good though, but I might pick them, but I'm gonna stick Chargers for now.
I will say Justin Herbert. I mean, the Chiefs' pass defense hasn't been the best recently, so it may be a placebo effect. But Justin Herbert was really throwing the rock around the field there in the second half this past week, and looks like we knew it was there. Obviously, he just hasn't had to use it yet. But to see him use it, kind of fucking scary. Next, we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, this is a huge game for Seattle. A win here would all but lock up the division for them, especially if a couple other teams lose. Packers, also a big game for them as they're trying to, get the best seeding they can. Kind of on the Vikings' heels, but they are 2 games back of them, so it's going to be tough for them to finish above the 6th seed, I think. But that's why you play the game, folks. And I think the Packers should come out with a W here. I think they're the better team, the more consistent team. That passing offense is just on another level at times. I think we're going to see that other level a little bit this game against a Seattle secondary that has had some trouble at times this season. I also think, is Kenneth Murray going to be back this week or no?
Walker?
That too. The other Kenneth. Yeah, if Kenneth Walker is back, I could see the Seattle Seahawks having a little bit. I know Zach Charbonnet had an amazing week last week, because big reason why I lost my first round fantasy matchup. But if if Kenneth
Got
Walker,
some super helpful information for right now.
okay,
He's listed as questionable, and they're
fantastic.
getting tests done, and they should know within the next few days.
Okay, so we will not know this video, is what I'm hearing. Especially since this is the Sunday Night Football matchup, and we've only got 2 more games to guess after this. But yeah, I think the Packers should win this game. The Seahawks just don't really have the firepower, in my opinion, to keep up with them. Packers could drop 40, and I don't think the Seahawks have the capabilities of doing that. So give me Green Bay.
Yeah, I think Green Bay's defense is going to be just a little too good for the Seahawks, and I think the Packers. This could be a really exciting shootout with the receivers that both of these teams have, but I do think the Packers in that run game is, a little bit more wear you down than the Seahawks is. So I'll take the Packers.
Yeah, at this point, it looks like if they're within 5 yards, Josh Jacobs is getting into that end zone, and the Packers can definitely move the ball. So yeah, Green Bay.
All right, and the first time in a while, we've got 2 Monday Night Football matchups. Starting off with the first one, we've got the Chicago Bears taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Bears season's all but over, but maybe they could play spoiler a little bit here with the Vikings, potentially cost them that 5th seed in the playoffs. Vikings, just when I thought that offense was coming back down to earth, they did that shit last week, and my goodness gracious, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson running all over the field, Sam Darnold just throwing it up to the best, not the best, but one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Probably continues this game. The Bears just seem like they've given up on the season. This past week they had an opportunity to at least be competitive with a beaten up 49ers team. It just got their doors blown off by, a third and fourth string running back, as well as, third and fourth string wide receivers. So, yeah, I don't see the Bears being able to keep up with this Vikings offense. Minnesota should roll to a very, very comfortable victory.
Yeah, Minnesota. I mean, we've bashed up on the Bears. No need to pile on here.
I'll just throw out that that Vikings team last week was another reason that Burke unfortunately lost in the first round of playoffs.
Yeah. So the 2 Vikings, my opponent, Joe, had both Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson combining for 100 points, and Zach Charbonnet, who scored 150 or just 55. But I finished with like 153. So those 3 alone, all it took. Could have literally sat the rest of his lineup. Beautiful. I was so sad. Next we've got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Falcons should win because the Raiders suck.
I kind of want to pick the Raiders just because the Falcons have been so bad.
The Falcons have been terrible, but they can't be that bad, right? The Raiders have been worse. By far.
You say they can't be that bad.
Aaron, you can debate. I'm taking Falcons.
Yeah. My brain is going to prevail, and I will take the Falcons, despite me rooting for the Raiders so they don't get the number 1 overall pick. But
like I said, they're going to ruin whoever it is anyways. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I mean, just a couple of great games for our Monday night slate.
It would be funny if the Raiders got the number 1 overall pick, drafted Shedeur Sanders, and he refused to play for them. That would be funny.
That would be funny.
I think that's one of the places they think he would absolutely play.
Yeah, he's already posted stuff on his Instagram or something.
Is very surprising considering how bad they've been forever.
Yeah.
No,
well, it's a big market though, so I think that's really all it cares about.
Yeah, that's a career.
Oh, so he doesn't care about. Okay, got it.
No, he does. Just business in case it doesn't go well.
Unless y'all got anything else, I think that'll do it for this episode of the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube, Swivel Chair Sports. I've been your host, Zach Circleberg. Burkle here with the coast today, Aaron and Joe. Go and say bye, guys.
Bye.
Alright, please make sure to like and subscribe if you made it this far into the video. Comment down below Stone Cold Smart, because that is a sick ass name. And other than that, deuces. Have a good day.